Welcome back to the Chattable podcast, where enrich vocabulary and speak English with pride.
We are so glad to have you joining us.
Yeah, and just a quick note before we jump in. For this episode, we are actually deliberately slowing our pace down just a bit, maybe, about 20% slower than our usual speed.
Right, because we know this content is mostly designed for non-native speakers or students, so we want to make sure every single concept is perfectly clear for you.
Exactly. And our mission today is really fascinating. We are exploring the vivid origins and the very precise applications of two, really powerful English idioms.
Which are one and done and hit job.
Yes. And after we unpack those, we are going to look at the literal software architecture of an educational iOS app, specifically the Chattable Daily app.
Yeah, we want to see exactly how these language learning tools are built behind the scenes.
Right. So let us start with our first phrase, which is one and done. And at its core, this phrase just describes an action or maybe a choice that happens a single time.
Exactly. It is never repeated. Once that single event is done, it is permanently finished.
But the origin is actually, it is pretty surprising. It traces back to American college basketball.
Yeah, it is entirely based on a rule in the NBA. The professional league requires that players be at least 19 years old or at least 1 year out of high school before they can join.
Oh, right. So a really talented teenager cannot just skip college and go straight to the professional draft anymore.
Right. Consequently, what happens is these top-tier talents will attend college for just one single year. Literally just to fulfill that rule.
Just biding their time?
Exactly. Once that single season is done, they immediately leave the university and join the professional draft.
They play 1 year and they are done. One and done.
You got it.
So, to clarify for you listening, is this phrase only used for things we want to avoid, like, I do not know, ripping off a Band-Aid or doing a painful chore?
Well, it is perfect for that. Like, getting a tooth pulled by the dentist.
Yeah.
You endure it once, and you are so relieved that it is a one and done.
Because you never have to pull that specific tooth again.
Exactly. But it also applies to really positive things.
Yeah.
Like, say you take an incredibly unique, expensive vacation to Antarctica.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Like, it was the trip of a lifetime, but I am never doing that freezing cold flight again.
Right. But you have to be careful because it is all about expectations of finality.
Yeah, and if that expectation is broken, it is super frustrating. We saw this in our sources with a story about Rachel.
Oh, the design software story.
Yes, so she bought this really expensive premium design software, and she thought it was a one-and-done expense. Like buying a hammer, right? You buy it once, you own it.
But the industry has moved to subscription models.
Exactly. So she was shocked when, a year later, she got hit with a yearly renewal fee. Her one and done turned into a recurring nightmare.
Which is why the phrase is so useful in corporate settings. Leaders use it to manage those exact expectations.
How so?
Well, imagine leadership holds a massive all-hands meeting to break down communication silos.
And as someone who has organized those, I can tell you, they are exhausting and very expensive.
They really are. So employees might assume they are never doing it again, but leadership will explicitly state, this is not a one and done.
So they are promising to have more regular meetings.
Right. They're actively rejecting the finality.
Yeah.
But I should warn you when definitely not to use it.
Oh, yeah. Like never use it when building long-term habits or relationships.
Never. If you go on a fantastic first date and you tell your friend it was a one and done, you are implying you have absolutely zero intention of ever seeing that person again.
Yeah, that sends the exact opposite message of what you want. Okay, so one and done is about a single natural ending.
Right.
But what happens when a single event is deliberately engineered to permanently ruin someone's reputation?
Well, that takes us to our second phrase, which is a hit job.
Right. And a hit job is a deliberate, meticulously planned, and fundamentally unfair attack.
Yeah, usually in the media or the public eye. And the goal is to just completely destroy someone's career, business, or reputation.
The phrase sounds incredibly violent, to be honest.
It does. And that is because its roots are in organized crime and the mafia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. In the criminal underworld, a hit is slang for an assassination. And a hitman is the person paid to do it.
So in modern conversation, it is obviously nonviolent, but it means a strategic effort to, assassinate someone's credibility for personal or political gain.
Exactly. It is not fair criticism.
No, it is an ambush. Like the example from our sources about Oliver, he opens a new restaurant, and suddenly this devastating negative newspaper article comes out about his food.
Which could just be a bad review, right?
Right. But Oliver discovers the article was actually written by a competitor across the street, specifically trying to steal his customers.
That is a textbook hit job right there.
Yeah, completely unfair. And we see this in the media, too. The sources brought up the cancellation of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
Yes. And we need to pause here for a critical rule reminder for you listening. We have to remain strictly impartial here.
Absolutely. We are not taking a side, and we are not endorsing any political viewpoints. We are simply reporting exactly what the observers claimed in the source material, just to illustrate how the phrase is used.
Exactly. So regarding that cancellation, some political and media observers actually labeled it a hit job.
And why did they call it that instead of just a normal cancellation?
Because CBS was recently bought by Skydance, which is owned by David Ellison, and he is the son of Oracle founder Larry Ellison.
Okay, and what is the connection there?
Well, the sources note that the Ellisons are prominent allies of the president.
Ah, I see. So the observers were using the phrase hit job to claim this was a calculated political ambush to silence him, rather than a decision based on TV ratings.
Right. Whether it's true or not, they use the phrase to instantly imply malicious intent.
Which is why you have to be so careful not to misuse it. A hit job is unfair, so you cannot use it for fair feedback.
No, definitely not. Like, take Sophia, for example. She gets caught cheating on a final exam and gets suspended by the principal.
A completely normal consequence.
Right. But if she complains that the principal did a hit job on her record, she is totally misusing the phrase.
Yeah, she is just playing the victim. She broke the rule. She got caught. That is not an ambush.
Exactly. Using these phrases requires incredible precision.
And, to really understand how that precision is delivered to language learners, we can actually look under the hood of the technology built to teach it.
Yes, this is the really fun part. We are going to look at the literal developer data for the educational iOS app called Chattable Daily.
I love this. So what does it actually take to package language education for a global audience?
A lot of exact parameters. So if we look at the Xcode target details, the bundle identifier is specifically com.chattable.english.
Okay, like a digital fingerprint.
Exactly. It operates on version 1.0.4, specifically build 5. And the requirements are super strict. It needs an iPhone environment with a minimum deployment of iOS 15.0.
Wow, so no older phones allowed. And I see here the Apple Development Signing Certificate belongs to Yongfeng Zhao.
Right. And if you dig into the info dictionary, which is version 6.00,
yeah,
it gets into how the user actually holds the device.
Oh, yeah. It notes the app supports 3 interface orientations for the iPhone and 4 for the iPad.
Ensuring the content is always readable. And naturally, the default localization is set to English using the code EAN.
But the visual requirements for the App Store Connect reviews, those are incredibly demanding.
Oh, they leave absolutely zero room for error. iPhone screenshots must be exactly 1284 by 2778 pixels.
Wow. And the video?
The video has to be exactly 886 by 1920 pixels.
And the iPad must be even bigger.
Oh, yeah. For the 13-inch iPad, screenshots require 2048 by 2732 pixels. And the video is 1200 by 1600 pixels.
So for you listening, think about the thematic connection here. Just as App Store Connect will entirely reject an app if a screenshot is off by a single pixel.
Native English speakers might completely misunderstand you if an idiom is used in slightly the wrong context.
Exactly. Both software development and language learning just require exact parameters to succeed.
It really all ties together. So just to quickly recap our journey in this episode, we moved from the basketball courts to understand the finality of one and done.
Then we went into the mafia underworld to grasp the calculated cruelty of a hit job.
And finally, we jumped into the developer console to see the strict architecture of how apps like Chattable Daily are built.
Yeah, and it just reminds you that mastering English vocabulary is so much like updating an app. It takes consistent practice, fixing the bugs in your own understanding, and knowing the exact environment where a phrase belongs.
Absolutely.
So we want to leave you with a final, slightly provocative thought to ponder on your own.
Oh, I like this one.
Yeah. If professional phrases today originated from 90s basketball rules and mafia slang, what highly specific internet or gaming slang from today will become the standard professional office vocabulary of tomorrow?
It is entirely possible we will be saying things like GG in a boardroom in 20 years.
I would not doubt it for a second. So keep updating your mental software, and we will catch you next time.